Paying me for this one.
I'm paying you for this one?
Oh yeah, obviously.
By the way, the show just started.
Nice.
Ellen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, so our first meeting, you rejected me on your show because I came there to perform, and you told me just sit over there, and then we'll see when we can fit you in. And I sat through the entire show, and then you said, "Sorry, we don't have any room for you," and I had to miss out on that. And next time I came back, that's when this is our introduction. Do you remember this?
I didn't quite say it like that. I like to give my side of that story.
And I'm surprised you were telling me that you don't like to correct people. Yeah, you did that to me. All right, it's cool. I forgive you. I forgive you because you know why I forgive you, because you have given me so many opportunities, and this is part of the reason why I wanted to bring you on the show, because being an upcoming musician, a really talented and successful one on the way on the journey, by the way, but being a musician and upcoming one, I went through every open mic there is in New Jersey. I went through every open mic there is in New York. I came across tons of promoters, but I didn't find one that pays as well as you do. And I didn't find one. I'm talking about upcoming, people who are just starting. And it was so refreshing to come across somebody like you who's about the artist more than using the artist for their own show. I know it's like a give and take, but I was like, how did you start with this whole journey? Where did the idea come from? And how did you get involved in these like upcoming artists and musicians?
So I just want to clarify for any listeners that the payment wasn't coming from the open mic. The open mic is a free, anybody performs, they give their time. And that's done in conjunction and partnership with Boxwood Coffee. So that's one project. And the paid opportunities are just other things where in some of my other circles and worlds of practice, working with local artists, I like to pick from the open mic a lot of times. That's kind of my ground for finding some of the up and coming musicians and some people that have their original songs, because open mics are nice practice grounds for musicians who want to practice new songs and get a little bit of feedback. So I guess I'll get started with the open mic and how that all happened. And basically what happened, Boxwood Coffee opened up. I went to their quiz night one night and I was just talking to the owners and they were like, we really want to get an open mic started. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And they said, but we're not sure how to go about that. Do you have any thoughts? And so that's when I got to know them pretty well. And we developed this open mic platform. I kind of took the ideas from different open mic and performance things I've done in the past, starting in my college years right up to now that I'm living in New Jersey, just giving opportunities for artists to perform. So we started the open mic and it became a last Friday of every month. And I'm not sure how many years it's been running, but pretty much since Boxwood Coffee opened. I can reference that after the video if you want to put a little
Yeah. No, what's
thing in the bottom of the screen.
what surprised me was that initially I just looked at you or thought of you as just another host of an open mic show. But the first thing which really impressed me was how organized you were and how crowded you made that coffee place. But then after that, you saw my talent and you thought I was a decent musician. Then you offered me the opportunity to play at the Music Moment, was like I think the dance theater ensemble, and
That was the Collide
the
event,
Collide event.
which was a partnership with a couple of local organizations in Summit. So that was a project that came out of a group called Creative Summit, which is really one of the places where I've met a lot of these artists from different fields. So that's musicians, that's writers. There's a lot of local poets and people who have local authors who've written their own books. We've come together with dancers, with other creative arts therapists, with Dreamcatcher Repertory Theater. So a lot of what Creative Summit was actually had started before my time. And I had then partnered up with some of the people that have become the leaders in that. And we decided we wanted to do a local project combining all these arts areas, inviting people to kind of get a sampling of the experiences that are offered here locally, at the same time on a level where they could have going from one room to another, sort of like an immersive experience was what we were creating. And so it was a really true collaborative project, which was really fun to do. It was probably 2 years really in the making, from the, sharing ideas and what types of things do we want to see in our local area, and how do we want to highlight local artists. So that ended up being heavy on the organizations, but there was intention on using local artists as the performers, because we really want to highlight our independent artists as well in this area, because through that group, one of the things we found is that independent artists don't necessarily have a platform like a business or an organization. So they have to create the art, and then they have to be business professionals, and they have to be networkers, and they need to know how to sell, and they find they have to be able to do all these things that isn't really their thing, and sometimes isn't really their talent skill area. So the open mic is one of those things. It just gives artists a platform. It gives them a place. Collide was an event that created a platform, a place to showcase. And the hope is that people get a sampling from these experiences, so then they go and get to know you on the outside. So that's why the open mic, we say, hey, bring your CDs, share stuff about your social media and your experiences. We don't want you to just come and play for 5 minutes, which some people, that's what they want. They just want that experience, especially new musicians who are just learning something. They just want to test it out, get used to performing in front of an audience. Maybe they're getting ready for an audition, kids especially. It gives them a place to practice building confidence and things.
And so
we're giving
that's what like really impressed me, because my image of you went from a coffee shop open mic host to then I saw a community leader, because over there you brought the entire community together, not just the musicians. You had all these different factions of the society coming together, and it was just like a festival in which everyone was just happy. And then I saw you, I was like, wow, now she's a community leader. I was like really impressed with how you brought the whole thing together. It was very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's all different separate projects, but it all has to do with my focus on keeping local and working with local artists. And a lot of that came from, I moved to New Jersey. It's me and my husband. We have no family around here. We're trying to, figure out, okay, we're not in college anymore. You don't make friends easily after you graduate from school. You have to actually make an effort to make friends.
And congratulations for your daughter. You recently became a mother as well, right?
Yes. Yeah. So hopefully she doesn't scream in the background here. She has quite the lung capacity.
So Ellen, from that point, what impressed me even more was that I was like thinking of you now as a host, a promoter / community leader, and then you invite me to a show to perform at one of your other projects, the Arc of Union, where for the, I don't know what's the correct term. What's the correct term for those individuals?
So it serves people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and you were performing in our adult day habilitation program for our adults in that program.
I would never be able to say this whole thing that you just said, but it was amazing. What you did there, and that whole show and the program and the way you're treating them as human beings with like adults, like and then after the show, one of the the supervisors there, you had told them to give me a tour, and so they gave me a tour of the whole program there and the different spaces they have for these people. I was just mind blown about like this whole project that you're. Tell me more about this. Like, what got you into this? How are you doing all of that?
So, moved to New Jersey, opened my private practice, started music therapy and adaptive music lessons in the area. One day the Arc of Union County reached out to me and said, hey, we want to start a music therapy program, and invited me in. So I actually had a full-time job there, as well as my private practice on the side and these other projects I do. I'm busy. That's how I do it all. I keep myself busy, and sometimes I have to learn to say no, which I've been pretty good this last year. Having a baby changes everything. But so I started the music therapy program, and quickly we added the art therapy to that program to be eventually serving 250 plus individuals every week. And that includes the children at the school as well. So it's all ages. Early intervention right through older adults now gets music therapy services there. And so that was a really awesome project, really fun. It was my job. It was my life. Got to really know the guys. And I actually since have moved from that position. So I was doing a lot of the business side of it, not just the program development. So I couldn't just spend my time doing music therapy with the clients. So actually, we brought on another music therapist who I worked with in my private practice, who was really amazing. So I always tell her, like, I'm sorry, it's my baby. I'll step back, because like I do treat that project like it's my baby. It's a whole program now. It's really grown, and that's because all the people who have helped to make that happen. We established a committee that advises it, and that committee is made up of experts from across the state in different areas and with a focus on creative arts. So these are people that know a lot about arts and health and have established programs already. So I never do something completely on my own. I steal from other areas. I shouldn't say steal.
We all do.
Right? I invite people in and I say, look, I want you to help me. I want you to be a real partner in this. I don't want to just come and you tell me, oh, this is a great program, and I copy that. No, I want you to come and hold my hand through it and be there. So when I hit a spot that I'm like, okay, we need to grow, I don't know what to do, I can give you a call and you're willing to share your expertise and your experience. And a lot of people in this field are really willing to work together if you open that conversation the right way, because there's not enough of these services out there. So we all want to help build each other up, not break each other down, not compete. We want to build each other up and help each other. And that's really, my whole business perspective. It's about offering a service. It isn't about making millions of dollars. It's about offering a service that's very much so needed. There's not that many music therapists in this area.
Yeah, but hold that thought, Ellen. I want to make millions. So what is in it for me?
Right.
Well, okay, so you one question I have here is that all these new upcoming artists, if they want to perform on any of the shows or programs that you are orchestrating, how do they get in touch with you?
So a lot of these projects, I pretty much organize everything through The Music Moment. So they can reach out to me at themusicmoment@gmail.com. You can edit that in the video too, right? Put it right in the corner there.
10% of our commission.
He's always trying to make money, this one.
Well, of course, more money, more options, more power. I have no problem I have no problem accepting the importance of money in my life.
And I honestly, I think the money is going to come naturally from the relationships that you develop over time and the people you meet, because it's your community, it's your world, it's the people that you surround yourself with that help you be successful.
Yeah.
Most very successful people don't do it on their own. And believe me, I haven't done any of this on my own. And to give me all the credit for this is just wrong, because they're not my projects alone. They're all very collaborative and very involved.
And then one of the reasons why I brought you, because there's many promoters in New Jersey and New York, the reason why I chose you is actually money, because you were the first promoter, even though, like for people in that caliber who are just coming out, right? Obviously, you're not going to pay them thousands of dollars, but for those people, even whatever they get at that level, it's a source of encouragement, and for some, it might just be that money they need to survive, And I appreciate you so much for thinking about the musicians and not just about the companies.
I've been a musician and
Yeah.
I've been asked to perform for free many, many times. And I was a church organist once, actually. I had my weekly gig as a church organist, and that's where I learned, you know what, I'm working for my own church, but they were paying me to make it worth my while to spend the time to really practice. I enjoyed that job. There's no question about it. I enjoy doing music therapy, but just because you enjoy it doesn't mean you shouldn't get paid doing it. And it's actually, I didn't go the direction of performing for a few reasons. One, I had accidents, so physically it's very hard for me to perform for a long amount of time. But the other reason is I don't want to be dependent on creating music and performing to make money. It takes away the creativity and the fun of it for me, to the point that it's not for me. And I think that's why I chose music therapy as a field of study and a field of practice, because it's for the people you're working with. It's not about the music I choose, it's about the music they choose. And they introduce me to all kinds of music. It's amazing. I learned so much. And that's now, every now and then I'll do a chamber music performance, or I'll perform with a local orchestra or something if they need somebody to stand in. Double bass is my main instrument, so that doesn't end up at the open mic.
I got you.
With all the other stuff.
So Ellen, what's the next big project after COVID-19, or that you see coming up in the near future that we can look forward to from your team?
I don't really have anything in the works right now, I'll be honest.
Okay.
Raising my baby. Enjoying it.
Yeah, I know it's a tough time. Like a lot of festivals, music scene is pretty down right now. The last thing I just wanted to cover was I so far the 8 episodes I've had, most of them, actually all of them, have been men. And I was thinking in my circle that, do I know any woman that actually I consider as someone that inspires me, or someone that I look up to and I say that, wow, this woman is just like amazing at what she's doing. So after scanning my mind, the first person that came to my mind was you. And I wanted to ask you, before we conclude this video, how did you, as a woman, how did you become a leader in your field, and how that I know that there's many stages, many layers, and many things you have to go through and you probably feel that you haven't even reached that level yet. I understand that, but what's this journey been like, and what message would you like to give to all other women who are in that type of space? How do you break out of it and get to the top?
Honestly, I think that leaders come out, the best leaders really come naturally. It just kind of happens. I haven't really forced it. The projects that I've created and what I've led and the different things I've done throughout my life, I've learned to follow people. I've learned to listen to people. That comes a lot from my clinical training, right? Getting supervision and having people who you really respect to be your friends, to be your circle, to be your colleagues, constantly networking and developing those relationships, and not just going out to meet people just because, oh, I got to do this for business. Most of what I do now in my life, I want to do it. That's why I do it. I don't just do it to make money. We all got to pay the bills at the end of the day. And becoming a leader isn't easy, and it has its moments that really challenge you. Lately, there's been a lot going on in the world that has been very challenging, and a lot of times you got to just sit back and reflect inside, reflect with people you care about and who you can speak to openly, and then listen. You have to listen and not think that you have all the answers and that you know how to do it. everything's been done already. Sure, there's slight changes and different directions we can take on our paths, but everything's been done. So why not turn to the best and see how they've done it and invite them in to help you. Be open to that. Be open to learning.
Ellen, thank you so much. I'm so grateful and thankful for you to take time out to talk to me. I know you're a very busy person, and I look forward to working with you on many other projects to come. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Thank you. Hopefully we have a project coming up soon then.
All right, thank you.